If you're over 70 and find yourself making excuses to avoid social gatherings, this video might be the most important thing you watch all year. 92% of seniors believe that being constantly active is the key to a happy life. But what if that belief is the very thing draining your joy? I'm here today to challenge that notion and show you a different, more peaceful path. Before we dive into these life-changing insights, if you're ready to embrace a more intentional and fulfilling life, please hit that subscribe button right now, turn on the notification bell, and leave a comment with, "I'm ready," so we can build a community of wise and vibrant individuals together. As a researcher and advocate for mindful aging, I've spent years listening to the stories of seniors. What I've learned is that the common narrative we're sold, that the golden years should be a non-stop parade of social events and travel, is often a myth. The reality for many is far different. Many of you are withdrawing not because you're lonely, but because you've become a master of your own energy, a guardian of your peace. You've learned that saying no is an act of self-care, not a sign of failure. Today I want to talk about 5 powerful reasons why you might be choosing solitude, and more importantly, how to use this newfound wisdom to live your best life. This isn't a guide to being a recluse, it's a manual for reclaiming your time, your energy, and your true self. 1. The economy of your energy. The first reason, and perhaps the most powerful, is the simple reality of physical energy. You've had a lifetime of giving, of working, of being a parent and a friend. Now, your body operates on a different, more sacred economy. You have a finite amount of energy each day, and how you spend it determines everything. I know what some of you might be thinking, I'm just lazy now, I should be more active. And that's the guilt that so many of us carry. We're told that to be a good senior, we must be on the go, always doing. But that's a dangerous lie. Jack, his 75-year-old retired teacher from Ohio, used to feel the same way. He'd force himself to go to loud family gatherings even though he'd be completely exhausted for 2 days afterward. He felt obligated. He told me, "I thought it was my duty, but my grandkids would see me tired and quiet, and I wasn't truly present with them anyway." Jack finally realized that a 2-hour focused conversation with one grandchild was infinitely more valuable than a 4-hour chaotic party where he felt like a ghost. The solution here isn't to stop engaging, but to become a strategic investor of your energy. You have to learn to say no without guilt. Think of your energy as a precious resource like water in a well. Do you want to splash it all out at a noisy gathering where you can't even hear the conversations? Or do you want to pour it into a meaningful one-on-one lunch with a cherished friend? It's about shifting from quantity to quality. But before I tell you the incredible story of how one woman transformed her social life by embracing this principle, there's a fascinating new insight from a 2024 study that changes everything. Research from the University of London's Institute of Cognitive Neuroscience found that for adults over 70, the brain's ability to filter out background noise and focus on a single conversation requires significantly more mental energy than in younger adults. This isn't a character flaw, it's a physiological reality. It's no wonder you feel exhausted after a loud dinner party. Your brain has been working overtime just to keep up. The most successful seniors are those who recognize this and choose their environments wisely. Let's expand on this concept. Consider your energy a bank account. Every social interaction is a withdrawal. A quick coffee with a friend might cost you a small amount, but a bustling wedding or a large dinner party could completely deplete your reserves. The key is to check your balance before committing. Ask yourself, do I have the energy for this right now? And will the return, the joy and connection, be worth the cost? The wisdom of this approach is in its honesty. It's about acknowledging your limits and honoring them. This brings us to a powerful psychological tool, the energy audit. For 1 week, try keeping a simple journal. Note down every social activity you engage in and, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate how it made you feel afterward, both physically and emotionally. You'll likely discover patterns. The bridge club on Tuesday might leave you feeling energized and connected, while the noisy family dinner on Saturday might leave you feeling drained and irritable. This isn't about judging the activities themselves, but about understanding their impact on you. Armed with this data, you can make informed decisions, consciously choosing activities that fill your well instead of draining it. Have you ever found yourself completely drained after a seemingly simple social event? Comment below and share your experience. Let's start a dialogue about this. 2. The landscape of your relationships. The second powerful reason you might be pulling away is the natural yet heartbreaking reality of a shrinking social circle and the struggle to find common ground. As we age, we lose friends, family, and loved ones. It's an undeniable part of life, and with each loss, a piece of our shared history goes with them. The circle of people who remember the same stories, who understand the unspoken context of your life, gets smaller. This loss creates a deep sense of displacement. When you meet new people, you might feel like you're starting from scratch. You have to explain decades of your life to someone who wasn't there for any of it. This isn't just about small talk, it's about the emotional and historical weight of your relationships. It can feel alienating and exhausting. I want you to know that this feeling is completely valid. It's not about being unfriendly. It's about the profound shift in the landscape of your relationships. Mary, a 78-year-old widow, told me she stopped going to her community center's events because she felt like an outsider. Everyone there was talking about their grandkids' new video games or new TV shows, she said. I didn't have anything to add. It made me feel like I was invisible. But Mary found a different way. She didn't seek a new group, she redefined her existing relationships. She started a monthly coffee date with 2 old friends, focusing on deep conversation and shared memories. This small, intentional gathering gave her more fulfillment than any large, impersonal group ever could. The solution is to nurture your existing authentic connections and be intentional about creating new, meaningful ones. Instead of trying to fit into a large, unfamiliar group, focus on one-on-one connections. It's about quality over quantity. But before I share a second crucial finding that will completely change how you think about your social calendar, let me ask you a question. How have your friendships changed over the years, and what do you do to maintain the ones that matter most? Let's delve deeper into this. The fear of being a burden or of not being able to keep up with conversations is real. You might find yourself dreading the question, "What have you been up to?" because the answer feels less grand than it once did. The key here is to reframe your perspective. Your life isn't less interesting now. It's simply different. The stories you have to tell about your past, your experiences, and your quiet wisdom are more valuable than any fleeting trend. A new study from the University of Michigan, published in late 2024, found that seniors who engaged in legacy storytelling, the deliberate act of sharing personal history and life lessons with family or friends, reported significantly higher levels of purpose and well-being. This wasn't just about reminiscing, it was about the act of actively passing on a legacy. They felt a deeper sense of connection and value. Instead of feeling like you have nothing to contribute, realize that you hold a priceless treasure, the story of a life well lived. This is an action you can take right now. The next time you're with a grandchild or a younger friend, don't just answer their questions. Ask them if you can share a story. I remember when I was your age, we didn't have cell phones. Here's what we did instead. This isn't about being a walking museum. It's about sharing the richness of your own life and creating a bridge of understanding. 3. The unseen cost of socializing. The third point is one we often don't talk about openly, the social and economic costs of being retired. In our youth, we often didn't think twice about the cost of a dinner out, a new outfit for an event, or a last-minute trip. Now, living on a fixed income, every dollar has a purpose. Many social activities are expensive. Going to a nice restaurant, taking a weekend trip, or even buying gifts for a large family can put a strain on your budget. This can create a silent pressure. You might decline invitations not because you don't want to go, but because you're worried about the financial impact. The shame and embarrassment of having to explain this can be powerful. And so, it's easier to simply stay home. I want to offer a fresh perspective. Your financial prudence is not a weakness, it is a strength. It's the wisdom of a lifetime of work, saving, and responsibility. It's the kind of wisdom that society has forgotten. And the key here isn't to spend less time with people, it's to redefine what socializing means. But before I give you a 3-step plan for how to do this, let me share another powerful finding from a study published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology in 2023. The research showed that for adults over 65, activities that involve shared experience without financial obligation, like a walk in the park, cooking a meal at home together, or simply sitting on a porch with a cup of tea, generated higher levels of happiness and feelings of connection than expensive, consumer-driven outings. The study concluded that for this demographic, the value of an experience is directly tied to its authenticity and the quality of the connection, not its monetary cost. This is a powerful truth that most of the world ignores. The solution is to find creative, low-cost ways to connect. Host a potluck dinner where everyone brings a dish, meet for a walk in a beautiful park, start a book club at a local library. Focus on the connection, not the transaction. Let's break down that 3-step plan. First, communicate with confidence. When a friend suggests an expensive outing, you can confidently say, "That sounds lovely, but it's not in my budget right now. What if we do something more low-key, like grabbing a coffee or going for a walk?" This is an act of empowerment, not an apology. Second, be the planner. Don't wait for others to invite you to expensive events. Take the lead in suggesting low-cost alternatives. I'm hosting a game night next Friday, just simple cards and conversation. Would you like to come? This puts you in control. And third, redefine fun. Fun doesn't have to be loud or costly. It can be a quiet afternoon spent reminiscing over old photos, a simple walk in the woods, or learning a new skill together. By the way, if you're finding this perspective helpful and want to see more content like this, please subscribe. The next video will be about how to talk to your adult children about your financial boundaries without guilt, and you won't want to miss it. 4. The bridge between generations. The fourth reason you may be withdrawing is the generational disconnect. I'm sure many of you have sat in a room with younger people and felt a profound sense of alienation. They're talking about things you don't understand, using slang you've never heard, and engaging with technology that seems foreign. You might feel like your life experiences, the hardships you face, the values you hold, are irrelevant to them. This feeling of irrelevance is one of the most painful experiences of aging. You're not just feeling out of place, you're feeling unheard. You might find yourself saying, "Things were different back then," only to be met with a polite but dismissive smile. I want you to know that your wisdom and experiences are not irrelevant. They are a priceless legacy. And the gap between generations is not your fault. It is a natural consequence of a rapidly changing world. The key isn't to try and become like them. It's to find a way to bridge the gap on your own terms. I know some of you may think, it's too late for me to connect with them. But that's a lie we tell ourselves. John, a 70-year-old grandfather, used to avoid his teenage grandkids because he felt like they had nothing in common. Then, he decided to simply ask them about their passions. He learned about their favorite music and their video games, not to become an expert, but to show interest. He found that by listening without judgment, they began to ask him questions in return about his childhood, his career, his memories. He wasn't trying to be cool, he was just being present. The solution is to become a curious student. You are not a relic, you are a living history book. By asking open-ended questions and genuinely listening, you can turn a moment of disconnection into an opportunity for mutual respect. The secret to bridging this gap lies in the power of vulnerability and shared learning. Don't be afraid to admit you don't understand something. That's a new app to me, can you show me how it works? This small act of humility can completely change the dynamic. It allows you to become a student, and in turn, it empowers the younger person to become a teacher. This exchange is a powerful form of connection. It's a two-way street of learning and respect. Let me give you a practical example. Instead of trying to understand the latest social media platform, try this. I'm not great with this technology, but I'd love to see the photos from your last trip. Can you show me how you organize them on your phone? This isn't about becoming tech-savvy. It's about using technology as a vehicle for connection. You're showing interest in their life while creating a shared, low-pressure experience. Remember, they crave your wisdom and stories just as much as you crave their connection. The key is to find the common ground where these two worlds meet. 5. The sensitivity of your senses. And the fifth reason is one that is rarely discussed, the physical and sensory sensitivities that increase with age. As we get older, our hearing might not be as sharp. Our eyes become more sensitive to bright lights, and our bodies are more easily overstimulated by loud noises and large crowds. These are not trivial concerns. For a person with even mild hearing loss, a busy restaurant with music and chatter is not a place for conversation, it's a place of constant struggle. The effort to hear and process every word is mentally and physically exhausting. The bright, harsh lights of a modern office or a shopping mall can cause headaches and fatigue. The crush of a large crowd can feel overwhelming and even physically threatening. I've heard countless stories of seniors who, after a lifetime of loving social outings, suddenly find themselves avoiding them. They feel guilty and confused, not understanding that their own bodies are sending them a clear message. This is not a safe or comfortable environment for me anymore. But before I provide you with a powerful psychological technique to cope with this, I need to tell you about a groundbreaking 2025 study from the University of California, Berkeley. The research team found that seniors who engaged in regular 20-minute periods of mindful silence, focused breathing or meditation, showed a 15% increase in their ability to handle sensory overload in a subsequent noisy environment. This suggests that the solution is not to simply avoid overstimulation, but to actively build your resilience to it through periods of intentional calm. This is a game changer. It's not just about managing the problem. It's about actively strengthening your capacity to thrive. The solution isn't to become a hermit, it's to become a conscious architect of your environment. You have to learn to advocate for yourself. If a restaurant is too loud, ask for a quiet corner. If the lighting is too bright, suggest a different meeting place. And most importantly, you have to prioritize silence and rest in your daily routine. Let's talk about that psychological technique. It's called sensory mapping. When you're in an environment that feels overwhelming, take a moment to pause. Instead of getting caught up in the chaos, deliberately focus on one sense at a time. What is one thing you can see that is pleasant? What is one sound you can hear that is not a part of the noise? What is the feeling of your feet on the ground or your hand on the table? This simple exercise brings you back to your body and your immediate surroundings, giving you a sense of control and grounding you in the present moment. This isn't just a mental trick, it's a way to train your brain to find pockets of calm, even in the midst of a storm. Another critical piece of this is self-advocacy. Many of us were raised to be polite and not make a fuss, but your comfort and well-being are not a fuss, they are a necessity. When you're making plans, it is completely acceptable to say, "I'd love to see you, but would it be possible to meet at the park instead of that loud cafe? I find it easier to hear and talk there." You're not being difficult, you're being wise. You are setting yourself up for a successful and enjoyable connection, not a stressful one. It's easy to confuse loneliness with solitude, especially as we get older. Loneliness is a state of sadness that comes from a feeling of being unwanted or disconnected. Solitude, however, is a peaceful and deliberate choice to be alone, a chance to reconnect with yourself and your inner thoughts. Think of it this way: loneliness is a storm you're trapped in, but solitude is a calm, quiet harbor you've sailed into by choice. This quiet time is a valuable opportunity. You've spent decades caring for others, working, and being constantly on. Now you have the chance to truly rest and recharge. You can finally read that stack of books, spend time on a long-neglected hobby, or just sit peacefully with a cup of tea and enjoy the quiet. Don't feel guilty for not always being surrounded by people. This phase of life is about appreciating your own company and finding joy in the simple, quiet moments. The good news is that embracing solitude doesn't mean you have to lose your connections. In today's world, technology is a fantastic bridge between your peaceful home and your loved ones. While a phone call is always great, learning new ways to connect can make a huge difference. For example, learning to send text messages or use video chat apps like FaceTime, WhatsApp, or Google Meet allows you to see the smiles on your children's and grandchildren's faces, share a quick joke with a friend, or send a loving message without the hassle of a loud, crowded outing. These tools are not just for the young, they're for everyone who wants to stay connected. Don't let a fear of new technology hold you back from the people you care about. If you're not sure how to use them, just ask a younger family member or a tech-savvy friend for help. They'll be more than happy to show you. By learning these simple skills, you can keep your relationships strong and vibrant from the comfort of your own home, transforming your solitude from a quiet retreat into a peaceful sanctuary that is still full of love and connection. Conclusion. So, in summary, you are not a recluse. You are a wise and masterful curator of your own life. You have learned that your energy is precious, that your relationships should be authentic, that your financial prudence is a virtue, that your wisdom is valuable, and that your peace is worth protecting. You have shifted from living a life of obligation to living a life of intention. If you don't watch this video until the end, you risk going back to your old ways, to the guilt of saying no, and to the exhaustion of trying to be someone you are not. Don't let the noise of the world drown out the wisdom of your own soul. This is a journey. It's about small, intentional choices every day. And if this video has helped you in any way, please forward it immediately to a friend who, like you, is searching for a more peaceful and fulfilling path. Thank you for watching, and here's to a lifetime of living wisely on your own terms.